Hi, welcome to First Chapter Fridays. My name is Virginia, and today I am going to be sharing a book with you, hopefully introducing it, or maybe you've already read it. It's called Al Capone Does My Shirts by Gennifer Choldenko. And this is another award winner you can see on the spine, and the silver medal means it was a Newbery Honor book, which means the writing is really, really good. I really enjoy the story. And it happens to be, my personal favorite genre is historical fiction. I don't know if you like historical fiction, but that just means that I like reading about times from the past. And this particular story takes place during the 1930s. That was a long time ago. What is that, 70, 90 years ago. And attitudes were very, very different during the 30s concerning prisoners, jails, weapons, lots of different things. So be aware of that when you are listening to this. Things have really changed over that period of time. And I don't know if any of you can see the picture here. This is the island of Alcatraz. And there's even a bigger picture of it in the book. I don't know if any of you have ever been there, but this story takes place on the island of Alcatraz. If you've ever been there, you know that it used to be a prison. And if you've just looked at it when you've crossed the Bay Bridge, you can see it just off to the right if you're heading into San Francisco. And you can go on tours there. I've been there a few times. I've gone during the day and at night. And it's very interesting. Each time I learn a little bit something new each time that I've gone. And again, Al Capone Does My Shirts is set on Alcatraz Island. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of the name Al Capone, but he was a really bad gangster in Chicago during this time period. And he was sent to sent to prison during the 30s and served time on Alcatraz. So I'm just going to read the jacket a little bit. Remember, the jacket is the inside portion of the book. And this is gives you a little bit of information and reason why you might want to read this book. 1935. When Moose's family moves to Alcatraz Island so his father can work as a guard and his sister can attend a special school in San Francisco, he has to leave his friends and his winning baseball team behind. But it's worth it, right? If his sister Natalie can get help, maybe his family will finally be normal. But on Alcatraz, his dad is so busy he's never around. His mom's preoccupation with Natalie's condition, today it would be called autism, is even worse now that there's no extended family to help with her tantrums and constant needs. And of course, there's never enough money. When Moose meets Piper, the cute daughter of the warden, he knows right off she's trouble. All Moose wants to do is protect Natalie, live up to his parents' expectations, and stay out of trouble. But on Alcatraz, trouble is never very far away. So during the time when Alcatraz was a prison, at least during the 30s, I'm not sure for how long, families of the guards and the people that worked at Alcatraz actually lived on the island of Alcatraz itself, not very far from where the prisoners were kept. So, Chapter 1, Devil's Island. Friday, January 4th, 1935. Today I moved to a 12-acre rock covered with cement, topped with bird turd, and surrounded by water. Alcatraz sits in the middle of the bay, so close to the city of San Francisco I can hear them call the score on a baseball game on Marina Green. Okay, not that close, but still. I'm not the only kid who lives here. There's my sister Natalie, except she doesn't count, and there are 23 other kids who live on the island because their dads work as guards or cooks or doctors or electricians for the prison, like my dad does. Plus, there are a ton of murderers, rapists, hitmen, con men, stick-up men, embezzlers, connivers, burglars, kidnappers, and maybe an innocent man or two, though I doubt it. The convicts we have are the kind other prisons don't want. I never knew prisons could be picky, but I guess they can. You get to Alcatraz by being the worst of the worst. Unless you're me. I came here because my mother said I had to. I want to be here like I want poison oak on my private parts. But apparently nobody cares, because now I'm Moose Flanagan, Alcatraz Island boy. Also, my sister can go to the Esther P. Marinoff School, where kids have macaroni salad in their hair and wear their clothes inside out, and there isn't a chalkboard or a book in sight. Not that I've ever been to the Esther P. Marinoff, but all of Natalie's schools are like this. I peek out the front window of our new apartment and look up to see a little glass room lit bright in the dark night. This is the dock guard tower, a popcorn stand on stilts where somebody's dad sits with enough firepower to blow us all to smithereens. The only guns on the island are up high in the towers or the catwalks, because one flick of the wrist and a gun carried by a guard is a gun carried by a criminal. The keys to all the boats are kept up there for the same reason. They even have a crapper in each tower so the guards don't have to come down to take a leak. Besides the guard tower, there's water all around, black and shiny like tar. A full moon cuts a white path across the bay while the wind blows, making something creak and a buoy clang in the distance. My dad is out there too. He has guard duty in another tower somewhere on the island. My dad's an electrician, for Pete's sake. What's he doing playing prison guard? My mom is in her room unpacking, and Natalie's sitting on the kitchen floor, running her hands through her button box. She knows more about those buttons than it seems possible to know. If I hide one behind my back, she can take one look at her box and name the exact button I have. Nat, you okay? I sit down on the floor next to her. Moose and Natalie go on a train. Moose and Natalie eat meatloaf sandwich. Moose and Natalie look out the window. Yeah, we did all that. And now we're here with some swell fellows like Al Capone and Machine Gun Kelly. Natalie Flanagan's whole family. Well, I wouldn't exactly say they're family, more like next-door neighbors, I guess. Moose and Natalie go to school, she says. Yeah, but not the same school, remember? You're going to this nice place called the Esther P. Marinoff. I try to sound sincere. Nice place, she repeats, stacking one button on top of another. I've never been good at fooling Natalie. She knows me too well. When I was 5, I was kind of a runt. Smallest kid of all my cousins, shortest kid in my kindergarten class, and on my block, too. Back then, people called me by my real name, Matthew. Natalie was the first person to call me Moose. I swear I started growing to fit the name that very day. Now I'm 5'11" and a half inches, as tall as my mom, and a good 2 inches taller than my dad. My father tells people I've grown so much he's going to put my supper into pickle jars and sell it under the name Incredible Growth Formula. I think about going in my room now, but it smells like the inside of an old lunch bag in there. My bed is a squeaky old army cot. When I sit down, it sounds like dozens of mice are dying an ugly death. There's no phonograph in this apartment. You guys know what a phonograph is? A record player. No washing machine, no phone. There's a radio cabinet, but someone yanked out all the workings. Who gutted the radio anyhow? They don't let the criminals in here, do they? So I'm a little jumpy, but anybody would be. Even the silence here is strange. It's quiet, like something you can't hear is happening. I think about telling my friend Pete about this place. It's the Devil's Island, do, Pete would say in a deep, spooky voice like they do on the radio. Devil's Island, do. I whisper just like Pete, but without him, it doesn't seem funny. Not funny at all. Okay, that's it. I'm sleeping with my clothes on. Who wants to face a convicted felon in your pajamas? Chapter 2, Errand Boy, Saturday, January 5th, 1935. When I wake up, I feel kind of foolish having slept with my shoes on and my baseball bat under the covers with me. My mom's banging around in the tiny hall outside my room, and I stick the bat under my bed. "Where's Dad?" I ask. "Right here," my dad answers from the living room. He's sitting on the floor with Natalie, holding a pile of buttons in each hand. "Dad, could you show me the cell house and then maybe we could play ball?" I sound like I'm 6 or 6.5 now, but I can't help it. He's been gone forever. And I hardly got to see him at all yesterday. It's lonely in my family when he's not around. His smile seems to lose its pink. He puts Natalie's buttons down in 2 careful piles, gets up and brushes his uniform off. I follow him into the kitchen. "You're not working today, are you?" "I'm having a devil of a time setting up extra circuits in the laundry." "Yeah, but you worked last night." My mom squeezes by to run her hands under the tap. "Your father has 2 jobs here, Moose, electrician and guard." "2," Natalie calls from the living room. "2 jobs, too." Doesn't anyone in this family believe in private conversations? "I could help you," I offer. He shakes his head. "You're not allowed in there. Convict areas are off limits to you kids," he says. "I'm not a kid. I'm taller than you are." "Go ahead, rub it in," he laughs. "But at least I don't have those big feet either. They're an affliction, those feet." He grabs my head and knocks on it. "I haven't seen you for 3 whole months," I say. 2 months, 22 days, 22 days, Natalie calls out. "That's right, sweet pea, you tell him," my father calls back. "I'll bet you took Natalie out this morning, didn't you?" The question comes shooting out before I can stop it. "Oh, for goodness sake, Moose." My mother looks up from where she's jammed in the corner scrubbing the icebox. "You weren't even up." "That isn't fair," I say, though I know better. "Don't talk to me about fair, young man. Don't get me started on that one." My mother glares at me. "I'm sorry, Moose," my father says. He reaches for his officer's hat and settles it on his head. "There's nothing I'd like better than to spend the day with you. You know that." His eyes look at me, then quick away. Wait, you're leaving now?" I ask. He groans. "Afraid so, but there will be plenty of time to spend together. I promise, buddy, okay?" He smiles, kisses my mom and Nat goodbye, and heads for the door. I watch him walk by the front window, his head bobbing like his foot hurts. My mom glances at her watch. "My goodness, is it that time already? Moose, I'll need you to watch Natalie while I take the boat to the city. I have to get groceries and arrange an ice delivery," my mother says. "Ice?" I ask. "We can't afford an electric refrigerator. We got to keep this one." She taps the old icebox. "They have a grocery downstairs, though, right?" "Doesn't have much. I'll try to do some unpacking while I'm gone. 11, 12, and 13 are all your stuff." My mother points to the crates, each numbered by Natalie. She takes off her apron and puts on her coat, her gloves, and her hat. "You're leaving now, too?" I ask. "I'll be back as soon as I can. Take good care of her, okay?" My mom grabs my arm and squeezes it. And I'm going to stop there. This is a great historical fiction book about a place right near us, Alcatraz in San Francisco Bay, and about families that used to live there. It's not based on true families, but gives you an idea of what life must have been like living on Alcatraz as one of the kids of the guards. So I hope that you will maybe check this out during library takeout. It's also available on our ebooks. You can check it out there, and I hope you will. So that's it for today, and we'll be back with another great new book a little bit later, next Friday actually. All right, take care everyone. I hope you'll check it out. Bye-bye.